Cardinal fans, baseball season is finally here. The Cardinals will open the season this weekend at the Alamo Irish Classic. So today we're here at Sullivan Field to talk to head coach Danny Heep to learn a little bit more about the baseball team. All right, first of all, thank you for being here. We appreciate your time.
No problem.
So first off, tell us a little bit about, the excitement of baseball season starting. It's tomorrow and all the anticipation from workouts to off-season to recruiting and everything, and tomorrow is finally here. So what's the feeling like?
Well, it's not one day in baseball. So I mean, what we do. We have a lot of new guys. We're gonna have basically a completely new lineup from last year. So, I'm not going to come out here and say, hey, tomorrow's game is the season. Baseball doesn't work that way. And so, it's going to be a process for us. We're going to have a very young team. We're probably going to start, 7 freshmen. So, our deal is to get these guys playing early, get out there, get their feet wet, and start working on mistakes after that. It's going to be kind of a growing process all year long.
Now, you said there's a lot of new guys, but what about some returners? Last year, obviously, it wasn't what you expected, I'm sure, but some of those guys have some good experience, and then they're going to show the younger guys. So can we expect that from those guys this year?
Well, offensively, yeah, we've got a few. I mewe only got 4 seniors. 2 of those are pitchers, and 2 of those are position players. We've got everybody from last year has got to do better. We weren't very good last year. We didn't hit very well. We didn't pitch very well. So, last year is good to have experience if that comes across in this season and being a positive and working hard and winning games. So, I'm looking at some of those returner guys to get better. I'm learning. I'm bringing those returner guys to help out some of the freshmen. But I'm going to say that we're very young across the board. We've got just a handful of upperclassmen, a couple of juniors, 3 seniors, 4 seniors, and it's right now. Who's our leader of our team depends on who wants to take over. It doesn't have to be a senior. It doesn't have to be a junior. It's anybody who wants to step up and start producing and start showing some wins.
Now, obviously, with the new guys, freshmen or incoming players, it's hard to know what they're going to bring to the team. But some of those guys were here in the fall, and you've seen them. So, what are some of those things you expect from the guys, and what you saw from the fall out of these guys?
Well, offensively, I think we'll be better. And it's going to be, like I said, it's a growing process. When you enter squad all the time, it's different. It's different when you practice, and it's different when you play. So we're going to start playing this weekend. They're going to start playing some very good teams, and we're just going to see, how many guys can apply practice and enter squads and did well in the fall. And I've been doing this a long time. There's no really correlation between playing well in the fall and making sure you're going to play well in the spring. I've had guys have terrible falls and great springs, and I've had guys who had great falls. I've had either way. So it's basically getting yourself in shape, learning the new. If we've got new things for them to work on, get back into the process. So we have to tweak some of these new guys. Some of the returners still have to make adjustments on the offensive side. We've got pitchers that need to make adjustment on the pitching side. We have got to start showing. Now, this is our 4th year into this. It's been tough recruiting because we haven't counted. But at some point, we're going to have to start showing some improvement. Getting and putting that in wins and losses, and showing our pitching staff is not last, and showing our offense is not last. We've got to start showing some ticking up and getting in the middle of the road on our conference stats if we're going to have any chance.
Now, you talk a little bit about the transition, and how tough has that been, and what kind of adjustments have you had to make from the Division II into the Division I?
Well, it's everything. It's like going from A ball to AAA. It's like going from AA to the major leagues. Completely different recruiting. Completely different. We have to do something with this field. Recruiting is we don't have locker rooms, and so this is something that that needs to be done because it's very competitive. We're not if we happen to get a chance to go to a regional, if we win our conference tournament, our regional is going to be TCU or A&M or Texas. We're not. It's so we have to go out and we have to compete. Our non-conference games are some Big 12 teams. There's some SEC teams. So, we don't expect. I mean, let's be realistic. I mean, we're only our third year. We're not going to go out and dominate Texas A&M or TCU right now. And we might not ever dominate those schools because those schools are in the Power Five, those schools that have $40, $50 million stadiums and all the resources in the world. You'll never get there. But what you can do in baseball is you can compete on any given day. And any given day, we can beat anybody. And that's the goofy thing about baseball. Can our football team ever beat Texas A&M or TCU or Alabama? Absolutely not. No chance. But could we possibly beat Alabama or Texas A&M or TCU in baseball? On any given day, we could. And that's the beauty of baseball. Is you got to have a young team. You're going to build it. We're not going to go out. Recruiting is very, very competitive on a Division I level. Division II, this was fine. A lot of teams have the same kind of things that we have. When Division I, it just went off the chart. We got in an arms race when it came to stuff. And so, we're a long way from this stuff. And so, what we have to do at this point, we've got to develop players. We've got to bring in the right kid. We've got to bring in guys that we project a year or two down the road are going to be really, really good. And it takes a lot of work. It's kind of scary because when you're signing guys in November before they play their senior year. And so, we're not getting the no-brainer guy that throws 95. Those guys are going to the Power 5 schools. They're going to the ACC. They're going, they're going to go to the big schools. They're going to sign early. So, I mean, we really have to do our homework. We've got to see guys more than probably they do. We've got to go recruit. We've got to get out. We've got to take chances. And hopefully at some point, we get lucky on a few guys. But, I mean, we've got to play the odds and do the best we can to try to, think about what we're going to do, project out guys 2 years down the road. It's kind of scary. But that's true with other teams in our conference, too, like Houston Baptist. We're a private school. Private and state are completely different animals. The cost, it costs $15,000 to go to Sam Houston State. It costs $40,000 to go to Incarnate Word. So we go recruit the same guy, and we got to go spend twice as much money to get the same guy. So, I mean, private schools, all the private schools have this issue, and Houston Baptist, ACU, and us, we're kind of the private schools in the Southland. We all have the same problems. We got the same issues. Now, Abilene Christian has done some things with their field, which will help them on the recruiting side, but they still have to deal with scholarships and money and the cost of school. It's not easy. I mean, that's why on the private school level, it's really difficult to compete. It can be done, but it's hard to be consistent every year. So it's work.
And then you just mentioned a little bit about those big schools you play for the Power 5. You played UT, A&M, Baylor. This weekend you're going to play Notre Dame in the Alamo Irish Classic. And you're playing St. Louis and Lafayette College. Right. You've never played them before, but what are some of these matchups good for Incarnate Word and get the exposure?
Well, playing at home, playing in this tournament is great. I mean, Notre Dame's been really good to us. They're a private school. They like to use private schools into the tournament. They're up. It's a northern team, so we should be a little ahead of these schools. We did pretty good. Last year, the year before, we ended up in the conference, the championship game. But we can beat northern schools that come down. I mean, that's kind of what we are. It's that mid-major type stuff. I mean, we've beaten Northwestern. And so the deal is with that. I mean, we've never played St. Louis. I've heard they're a good club. Now Notre Dame's always good. So I mean, they're in the ACC, which is one of the best baseball conferences in the country. very competitive. So, I mean, it's good for us. We're playing a complete Division I schedule. I mean, we don't play any Division IIs. We don't play anybody else. We have quite a few home games this year, which worked out very well because of some road games like Omaha. We made a trip to Omaha. They have to give us a trip. So, we're here almost all through February quite a bit. We have a couple of Tuesdays that we have to go, but it sets up good for us, and we're going to see. Hopefully our guys get off to a good start. That's the fear with a young team. Hopefully they get off to a good start, start building some confidence, because if they struggle early, a lot of these guys have been very, very successful in high school, and they haven't had to go through that process of failure yet, and I've warned them about that. You're gonna strike out more than you ever have before. You're not going to hitting 400's over. You hit 320 to 350 is an excellent year on Division I. So we're just going to have to, we'll see how this all shakes out. It's going to be interesting. The last time I had a team this young was way back 15 years ago when we started 6 or 7, 8 freshmen, but that was on an NAI level, which was a lot easier to make adjustments. You didn't have to, the flamethrowers or the hard Friday night guys. And it was a little easier. But I had the same fears then too. How are these guys going to adjust going from high school to Division I? That's a huge jump for a lot of these guys. Used to facing a bunch of 80, 81, 82 guys. Now you're going to face, most of your guys are going to be 90. Everything's sped up. Everybody's faster, everybody's better, everybody's quicker, everybody's bigger, everybody's stronger. And so it's going to be, this first weekend is going to tell me something about how we go out and how we approach playing these guys. Hopefully we're aggressive. Hopefully we go at it with no fear and just do it. That's what I've told them. I said, I wish we could just play with everybody with a white shirt or a black shirt, no Notre Dame on the side of it. Don't get intimidated by that stuff. It's just, it's going to be fun, but it's going to be scary.
Now, last question. This is your 20th year as a head coach at Incarnate Word. Is this any different? Are you just as excited, more excited than any other year, or how is this year special?
I guess you mellow out, at some point, and I guess I have. Usually you get, you work with guys, you want to know where your team's at, we never stopped doing this between fall, we get a small break in summer, but then, you go through fall practices and you're almost ready to play. And I think that's maybe the best thing I could put. I'm tired of practicing. Yeah. I'm tired of doing individual work. I'm tired of hitting fly balls. I'm tired of throwing batting. We want to play. We want to see if all of this culmination of practicing and preparing is going to equate into making these guys a better baseball player and wins. We've got to start creeping up the Southland standings. We're not going to go from last to into the playoffs. We've got to start showing that we're starting to compete now. It's not going to be a turnkey right away. So this is an important season for us because next year we do count. We got to, we're going to have this team for at least the next 2 or 3 years. So, hopefully it's not, we might have to do some adjustments. Not everybody we recruit's going to pan out. That's just it, But hopefully majority of these guys are playing when they're juniors and seniors. And if they are, then we'll have a pretty good club. If those guys are still out there, if we have 6 or 8 starting freshmen today and we got 6 or 7 starting seniors 4 years from now, we'll be a good team if it's the same guys. Because that means they're doing something right. They're progressing, they're getting bigger, and we'll start turning that thing around and give us a shot at making the Southland Conference tournament.
All right, well, I think we're going to find out this weekend. It's 4 games, so it's a good start.
So 4 games, and those guys have never played 4 games in a weekend, so that's going to be another thing, is the fatigue and preparing. So.
All right, well, we're looking forward to watching you guys play. I'm sure you're excited. The guys are excited, but thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks a lot.
And good luck.